Greetings and welcome to my channel. My name is Abagnatius and let's watch myself play some Captain of Industry. As mentioned in the last episode, I've been dealing with some dirt issues, and here I'm looking around to find a place where to dump the excess dirt that I'm making but not needing. I was thinking of dumping it over here, but then I was thinking, nah, that would be just the dirt from the coal mine. I mean, there is also dirt coming in from copper and iron. The top layer, I mean, I've made this map in a way that the entire depth of at least the middle of the map is resource, but there is always a small top layer of dirt on top of it, and that will of course also be excavated. And all of that top dirt now goes into the system and blocks everything. And I decided, well, only dealing with the top dirt of coal, that would be something that would at least ensure the flow of coal into the factory. But the other two also need to be taken care of. Here I'm looking around, probably looking at this position to put some dirt in piles which I don't need. Here I'm looking at the dirt line at the conveyor. And I think you might already see where I ended up putting all the dirt, but let's wait a little bit. Here I was looking around, just having an open eye. And this is where I put all the dirt. Of course, into the dirt mine. That is the only place that really makes sense. Here I was looking at how to do this. I was kind of pre-planning the whole thing. Ooh, there is almost a bit of suspense here. I was also, I think, thinking about the possibility of just putting it into containers and dumping it over here. That's why I'm looking at these two mine control towers to recheck how they are set up. What we can dump here is slag and waste. And again, I think I've mentioned it before, we can see here is waste and here is slag, but that is really what's the word? By accident might be one way to say it, but that's not, that doesn't feel exactly right. Coincidence. By coincidence. It's just that the settlement is down there and the mines are a little bit higher up. A little bit further to the north from our point of view, so that's just how all the dirt ends up here and all the slag ends up here. Sorry for yawning. Same problem as always. Headset goes on, yawning begins. Okay, yes, here I think I'm settling on, yes, I've just settled on putting the dirt into the dirt mine, not with a liquid dump. Then I remembered, oh, it's a stacker in the transports category. I'm moving this over because I know that the stack is going to be fairly big, fairly wide, a fairly high radius circle. So I need to move this over to not end up putting dirt on these storages, which wouldn't go under the on them, but actually under them where the game is concerned, and it would make the ground underneath them uneven and cause them to collapse. That would not be a good day. Here I'm going as close to the wall as possible. Also, I'm building these one next to the other, or rather I'm placing the blueprints one next to the other. With the intention to remove every second one of them. That way I have even distribution. Yep, that one would have been too close to the wall to the left, to the right from our point of view. That way I have an even distribution and everything's perfect. Let me speed this up a little bit because that's just a lot of placing and one misplacing. Here I decided to remove the excavator to not end up putting a lot of dirt on top of it. Okay. Now comes the piping. I need to bring the dirt into or over there at some point, of course. I decided to do this by way of a balancer and of course lifts. Lift down into balancer, into lift up. Into normal conveyor. Ah. Okay. The reasoning why I did this with the balancer is that I can have the priority out on the here on the normal dirt line to not interrupt anything, and just have the excess dirt being dumped into the dirt mine to be mined and taken away later. Here all the stackers are being built, wonderful, and now of course comes the balancer to bring the dirt over. I also decided exactly that, to bring the dirt on a high conveyor, just to avoid interruptions. Also, I could have built all of them like this, but then I decided, why would I do that? Let's make life a bit easier. And then I decided to make life a lot easier. Okay. Then the connection from the new balancer into the stackers. I also decided to keep it close close to the dirt mine. And that was just having the high having a conveyor 2 to bring dirt quickly. And the distribution, of course, can then happen with slow and normal small conveyors. And now that I'm looking at it and thinking of it, I think I'm going to have to upgrade probably pretty much all of them. Because every time, of course, some dirt comes in, half of it will be stacked at the first stacker and the other half will then be distributed among the other stackers. And that will continue once the first stacker is full, meaning the pile is so high that it won't stack anymore. Then the thing just continues on down the conveyor. So yeah, we'll have to do some upgrading. But that's no issue. Okay, here we have the first dirt being brought in. I was wondering, why do we have such large gaps? Then I realized, ooh, this was upgraded. And here we have stacking, which is wonderful. I'm still wondering. Ah, of course. No. Here I was checking on the new copper facility. If we're paying attention up here, right now it's at 0%, because of course the new copper still needs a little bit of time to propagate through the factory. But it is going to begin to go up. Also paying attention to this line, we can see that it's a baseline, also a tier 1 conveyor. And at this point I decided that I really need to upgrade this. And that's what I was about to do here. I was following the conveyor. Yes, this was not, I was right, this was not yet upgraded. What confused me before was, for a little bit I thought I saw blue on the side of this conveyor. That would have meant that it was upgraded. But no, it was not upgraded. And now it was being upgraded. And I followed the conveyor to make sure that I will upgrade every part of it. Here the first upgrade is already done. Second upgrade. Third upgrade. Wonderful. I kept following the line, of course. And I think to just be on the safe side, I ended up upgrading this conveyor here as well, if I recall correctly. Although it was emptying nicely, though I think an upgrade wasn't needed, and I think I didn't do it. Yeah. 123, the copper mine was about to back up too. Was about to be blocked as well. Good thing I did this, I didn't even see that. Here, paying attention to maintenance 1, we can see that is back to 0. But by 2%, we can see that there is at least more production of it. In principle, this is now finished, but I will notice an issue at some point, and then I will solve it. So let's continue. Paying attention to this, to maintenance. 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, and so on. In other words, it is rising, and that means we have enough copper in the system now. Copper is now propagating through the system, and that means that electronics are being made, and that means that maintenance is being made. So that problem has just solved itself. I'm here also just finishing the stacker setup. I did not know, I was wondering why I hadn't done this before, so didn't really matter, so I finished it. Yeah, I was looking at the possibility of building another stacker here, but then with every second stacker being removed, that would have been removed anyway. And then I moved one further down, and that would have been too far down, so I decided to just go with these two. Removing the middle one. The conveyor, of course. First the lifts. Yes, and now the conveyor, same thing as before. Keeping close to the mine's wall. Wonderful. Then I moved the excavator out of the mine completely because I wanted to avoid the chance that this stacker might make such a big pile that this poor excavator will be completely blocked in, but in retrospect that wasn't really necessary. I meant well, but again it wasn't necessary because that much dirt wouldn't reach down here in this amount of time. Also we can see big stack here, and then they get smaller and smaller. Because again, only half of the dirt will ever reach the next stacker. And as we are working with natural numbers, I believe they should be called in German, they're natürliche Zahlen. That's just numbers that full numbers 1, 2, 3 and so on. Taking half again and again and again doesn't end up creating ever smaller fractions, but they will end with 1. And at the first, and it will take some time until the first bit of dirt will reach the last of the stackers. Here I had an issue, or I noticed an issue. Fortunately I noticed it early enough, that the slag wasn't being brought away, and that caused copper production to cease again. But as you can see up here, 33% maintenance 1, I noticed it early enough. And now of course production resumes. Okay, let me speed this up a little bit because I will notice a dirt problem. Just have. The question in my mind is, what if this dirt overflows this this wall? I don't know what would happen then. I honestly have no idea. To be quite honest, I think I'm gonna do a test. I'm gonna have one of these call for. I'm gonna make a yes. I'm gonna make a storage that calls for slag, and then I'll fill it into a stacker, and I'll have a couple of these walls around that stacker close and at some distances, and then I'll just test it and see what happens. That will be several episodes in the future though. But I will test this. And while I'm at it, I will also test what will happen with other buildings that way. Yes. For science I'm going to do that. But here I'm looking at all of this. I'm seeing that the dirt pile is wider than I thought. This green bit here, I think that's the sensor. Once the pile reaches high enough to interrupt that sensor, it goes red, and then it will not stack anymore because it knows it's full. Here. That would have been the solution. I just decided to see, is there a way to change the length of this? And that must be the dump offset. I did not realize that then, I didn't even look. But now that I'm looking at this, I realize this must be the dump offset. If I had set this to -4 or -5 at this point, this would have stopped stacking. That would have been a more elegant solution than the one I went with. I'm currently thinking. I think I might even try to. Oh no. The solution as it is built, and I'll leave it at that. So for the future, I now know stackers can have a dump offset, and to use that if necessary. Okay, but at this point I didn't realize that and I didn't use it, so I decided to first to see how many squares of building space do I have. And I decided to pause these stackers to give myself a little bit more time. That was the wrong key. Okay, what am I going to do? Yes, retaining walls. Problem is these retaining walls overlapping with terrain designation. That's the mining. That's the mining thing. Let me speed this up a little bit, because now I will end up having to delete these mining designations. Exactly. Okay. And here these are too high. Okay. So okay, yeah, one lower, and now it works. Perfection. We can also see that we can build these walls partially into the ground, or as here of course fully into the ground, so that there is not 2 squares of building space here. Doesn't actually matter. It would matter if I had to bring stuff by truck here, because this is no longer reachable. But that's a solution I was thinking of that's a problem I was thinking of at this point in time. And of course, the solution is fairly simple. Use Unity and warp everything here that's needed. Also, I decided to not build all of this by hand, but to make my job a little bit easier. Let me speed this up a little. Okay. That was a nice idea, but of course it wouldn't work. I wanted to protect these retaining walls, but again, from being undermined. But that wouldn't have worked, of course. I found a different solution. Let me speed this up quite significantly. You can hear up until 4. The sound is also being sped up, but at 4 there is no sound anymore. It's a bit unfortunate. Would have sounded quite funny, I think. Okay. Everything was built with Unity, and the problem of overflow is now no longer an issue. Which means that I could now unpause the stackers and let them do their thing. Perfection, problem solved. Now, of course, there is another problem. What if the mining operation reaches these retainer walls? Let me speed this up a little. Because at the end of the day, I went practical. Maybe make this. Oh yes, I decided to make this a little bit bigger to be sure to really catch the whole pile of dirt. Okay. Here I'm checking again how everybody is doing. I see that this is almost empty. And that there is in fact only very little dirt left on this conveyor line, meaning all the excess dirt, and as you can see here, very small amounts of dirt are still being delivered, which means almost all the excess dirt is now here, stored in the dirt mine. And as you can see, I kind of expected more. I am ready for way more, but that's no biggie. Better have too much capability to deal with stuff than too little. And now I am going to decide very soon to reactivate the dirt mine. Because now it really doesn't matter if the newly produced dirt kind of blocks the excess dirt, because the excess now has a place to go. I'm thinking that I was thinking and trying to find solutions. And that is the beginning of the solution. The problem I was facing was undermining these newly built walls. I wanted to avoid that. As they are built one lower or one into the ground, this of course could happen without any issue. I'll just mine to the bottom of these. all the way down to the ground. Yes, here I made a small error, but I'm going to see that and I'm going to correct that. But here I was thinking about exactly that. I was also seeing something's not right here. Yes, now I saw that I was too high up. Come on, you can do it. Yes, almost. At -2, yes. Yes, exactly. I was too far. I just hadn't reached far enough. Okay. Nope, that's one too far. And that looks about right. Okay. And of course here I don't have to worry about going to the depth because of these walls. Okay, and now the finishing the other two edges. Let me speed this up a little. Wonderful, and now the flat part in the middle. And that is the new dirt mine. And now I reactivated it. And everything is awesome. And that ends this video. Thank you for watching, like, subscribe, not to drill if you so choose, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.